Hi, this is Dave.
And Bridget from Flogging Molly.
And this is Aimee.
And Kevin from the Interrupters. And you're watching Two for the Road on Consequence.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I hope you guys are looking forward to this as much as we are. I mean, this is a really, really great lineup, isn't it? I mean, I think it's just going to be fantastic.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, we've been fans of you guys for so long. And, you know, the fact that the timing like worked out so perfectly and it's like a summertime thing and it's like
celebration.
Touring is back, you know, in a way where it just feels, it feels good. We're really, really excited.
Yeah, we're the same.
How many tours have you guys been out on since all the shit hit the fan?
Yeah.
Last summer
we did one tour.
Yeah, last summer we did a tour, the Hella Mega tour with Green Day, Fall Out Boy, Weezer.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah. It was crazy.
It seemed like everything was calming down, and you know, we're going out on this big tour, and I think like 2 weeks before we left, there was this new variant, the Delta variant. So everything on the tour became, I mean, it was going to be very cautious anyways, but it became really strict, like to our bubbles. Like we didn't really, like none of the bands hung out with each other. And on days off, we were all so careful, which is like different from, you know, most tours we've done, like days off, you know, the twins will be like, hey, there's this one restaurant that Anthony Bourdain ate at on his TV show. We should go there. And we're like, okay. Or like, let's go to the movies. But it was like none of that. And
but baseball stadiums.
So
it's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty
I think we were out at the very same time.
Yeah.
And it was the same. Just
we were with the Violent Femmes. We were doing a co-headline there.
That's awesome.
And it's the same thing, you know, you couldn't hang out with anybody.
It's a bizarre way to tour.
You know, it really, I think this will be a little different.
I'm hoping so. We're very optimistic. You know, we like to look at the glass half full and just hope for the best, and like all while still being cautious. But you know, we have to get back into it. You know.
Yeah.
And we're excited to play. We're excited to play in front of your fans as well. You have the best fans in the world. So fun, so much. It's just a very family vibe. You know, everyone's singing and dancing together, and our fans are very similar, so we think that it's a perfect.
That's what
I think so.
Me and Bridget were just talking about. That is exactly the same thing. I think it's going to be really, and then you got the Tiger Army crowd on top of that. You know, I mean,
yeah, it's
great. It really is.
And
the Skints are great. We've toured with them in England, and they're super, man. What a live band. Yeah.
They're all sweethearts too. Just as people. Just so kind and awesome and talented. So
yeah.
No, it truly is it's a great lineup for everybody involved here. It really is.
It is. It's a killer lineup.
It's lovely.
And it's an honor, truly an honor to share the stage with you guys, to be on the tour with you. I mean, we really are big fans. So.
It really is. Like, I mean, we're following you guys forever, and we were actually talking about it last night. And I remember the first time I saw you live. It must have been, I think, 2001 Warped Tour. Were you on the 2001 or 2002 maybe?
I mean, yes to both of those, I think.
Ventura Beach in California.
Oh, yeah.
And I just remember being blown away, and I wasn't aware, like I still new coming into like discovering bands and stuff, and I watched your entire set. And I remember the thing that really struck me too is because I grew up, like before I'd even discovered punk rock or anything, my favorite band of all time, the Beatles, right? And that kind of like folksy songwriting of like the 1-4-5 with the good melody and like the hook that comes in and that everyone could sing along to. And I just remember watching you guys in the way you had that, but with this like punk rock like engine behind it was so exciting. And I remember just being like, it was like a 30-minute set, but it just felt like, you know, on Warped Tour, those sets go by like that. But I just remember kind of entranced the whole time. So, you know, full circle, we were talking about it, and I was just like, I can't believe like we're gonna be able to watch that like every night. That's so awesome.
2001.
Please don't.
No, we can't wait as well. I mean, you know, you guys have just, you know, a breath of fresh air. You really are, you know, and your albums. I mean, you're bringing out a new album, aren't you?
Yeah, it comes out between the two legs. But we have some singles out now, as you guys do. We're good. Yeah, so we'll be playing the new singles and. All that.
And I love your new single. It's the songwriting, the pictures that are painted, it's incredible, really excellent, beautiful.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's, you know, you think it's a typical, like probably Flogging Molly song, but you know, these times really have us drinking just a little wee bit. That's all, you know.
And I'm a huge Leonard Cohen fan, and
Oh,
when I was listening to the song, I was like, this is literally, if you slowed this down, I could hear Leonard Cohen singing this. I mean, the songwriting is, it's like a punk rock sped up Leonard Cohen song to me. It's just
you know,
amazing.
Aimee, one of the greatest nights we ever had was here in Detroit, and we went to see Leonard Cohen.
Oh,
wow.
And we got in because our guitar tech at the time was friends with the drummer in the band. So he got us backstage. So we were backstage, we're talking to the drummer, and then all of a sudden Leonard Cohen walked into the room.
Oh my
He
God.
was the sweetest, nicest man. It was amazing.
Guys, he was absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. You know.
Yeah.
Kevin, yeah, he's unreal. He was unreal.
That's amazing that you got to meet him. He's magic. He's a magic man.
He was
Yeah,
such a gentleman, Aimee. He was absolutely lovely. You know.
So good to hear. That's so good to hear.
I mean,
Yeah.
talk about an artist that just not only evolved, but made amazing records and wrote amazing songs all the way to the end and even past. Like they put out a record after he passed away of the stuff he had been working on. And that
Yeah.
record so
It
great.
is amazing.
Amazing. I remember that record, we got it, and we literally were in Ireland, and we went to bed, and we just left that album on loop.
Oh, yeah.
We
Oh,
slept.
we did.
We did, yeah.
We
Do you
woke
remember
up.
that?
Yeah, we woke up and it was still on.
Still
I think,
on.
and then I think we still left it on. It's like it was on rotation for like a solid 24 hours.
Perfect record for that. You know, when we were writing our last record, if we would get stuck on lyrics, or we had like, you know, we have the first verse, but we got to finish the second verse, and you know, just to kind of get out of our element, Aimee and I would ride bikes just around where we live in LA, and we would be riding bikes around and shouting lyrics back and forth. And when we would come up with a lyric that we thought would be good, we would like kind of stop and write it down. And if we ever had a question about whether or not it was a good lyric, I would say, we have to just do it in the Leonard Cohen voice.
So
And
he
then
would sing it in
I'd be
Leonard Cohen's
yeah,
voice.
Exactly.
And then he's like, yeah, Leonard Cohen wouldn't sing
I
that.
was like, yeah, that doesn't work.
Doesn't
you know?
work.
It's like a test.
Yeah, that was our.
That's a great tactic.
Kevin, that is ridiculous, because you know what? When I'm writing lyrics, sometimes I do stuff like that in my head too.
Right? I mean, even if you
For real.
a cool musical part and you're like, I don't know what I would sing over this. Sometimes I'll think to myself, like, what would Joe Strummer sing over this? And I'll do like a Joe Strummer impression. I'll be like, oh, that's kind of it's like a way of
The only one it doesn't work with would be Johnny Cash, because that dude could sing Three Blind Mice and make it sound cool.
So true.
It's true.
True. What are you doing vocally? What do you do I'm just so curious, because your voice, Dave, your voice is so amazing. I mean, it really, your technique, just as a singer, I'm in awe of your delivery, your technique, your tone. I think you're just incredible. And I told myself when we got this, I'm like, the first thing I just have to ask him, what do you do on tour or before tour to prepare yourself vocally, or to sustain yourself vocally? Like, how are you so good?
Oh, come on, Aimee. Gee, I mean, I'm going red here.
You are
I really am. Do you know what, Aimee? I do absolutely nothing. I have a hot toddy before I go on stage.
A hot whiskey about 40 minutes before we go
About
on
40
stage.
minutes. I'll get a little hot whiskey, honey, lemon, cloves, a pint of Guinness.
That's perfect, because it's you're lubricating it, you're warming up,
You're loosening up the muscles with the Guinness.
lemon with the mucus. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a perfect solution.
I mean, your vocal style, I think, is way more. You've got more of a range than I'd ever have. I mean, what would your preparation be? I mean, because to me, I just like basically shout my head off. You know, that's. I don't. You
don't do the white octave anymore.
I don't do the white octave anymore. No, I left that one behind.
It's amazing. I mean, you're very gifted. I mean,
Yeah,
I
because
don't,
to be able to do that night after night and not
it's-
lose it.
it's
and-
amazing.
yeah.
And that just goes to your technique. Somehow you accidentally have like a really proper technique where it's not shredding your vocal cords.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Aimee, to be honest with you, what I do is I do sing basically from my belly,
Mhm.
from my diaphragm here.
Yeah.
And I always feel more aching there than I do here.
Yeah.
You know, so I am a little bit aware of that, you know. But and do you have any special routines that you do, or?
You know, I'm always on the hunt. Like I nothing's routine. I'm always switching it up, trying to figure out the best things and searching and researching and trying every weird thing you could possibly imagine. But something that I started doing on our last tour that helped me so much, and I bring in this is so LA sounding.
I know what you're gonna say.
But
And you'll see it. You'll see it.
I have a portable sauna, that infrared sauna.
It looks like a camping tent. And
Yeah.
and you could either go all the way inside of it, or you could poke your head out the top of it.
Yes. So I bring that into the dressing room, and dressing rooms are historically freezing. They just are. I've never walked into a dressing room and been like, oh, this is like a perfect temperature. I'm always cold. So I just get into the sauna, and it's like 120, 130 degrees. And it relaxes all of those little muscles, all of the little muscles that you can't relax any other possible way. I love taking salt baths. So if I'm in a hotel that day and not on the bus, I'll wake up and I'll take an Epsom salt bath. But from the neck up, you know, it's really hard to get that in the water and everything. So the sauna takes care of that. And I feel really loose. So I don't have to go run around the block or go running. I sit in the sauna and I come out and I have to warm up. My warm up is just, then how long is that little warm up we do?
We do 10-minute warm up of like scales and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we pull out an acoustic guitar and we do like probably 5 or 6 different harmonies from different songs to just make sure we all sing together before we go out on stage. Because we've gone out on stage in the past where like the first time we harmonize is
on stage
and
it sounds like it.
Sounds like it. Yeah. So if we could sing together and kind of acclimate ourselves and each other and kind of like become that unit before we walk out, that definitely has helped us.
We don't know what scales are.
And you guys are actually doing your homework. We're the kids that are finishing 5 minutes before class, or we're copying your homework. We don't do any of that shit.
You're like the smart kids that don't have to study and work as hard. You just pass.
No, you know what, Aimee, you just reminded me though there, like on the last couple of tours, since we've come back from pandemic, if we're in a hotel room that day, like yourselves, I'll put the shower on and get steam going.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I'll go in and spend a little bit of time getting that. But so yeah, I do actually do a little bit of that. And but if you want to try a hot toddy, you're more than welcome. I'll definitely make you one, you know. And
He does make a good one.
I think
Yeah.
like,
I believe it.
My problem is this, is that I spent many years of this band going on stage and drinking hot toddies, and then that hot,
did.
and then the shows, it showed.
You didn't just drink it before.
Yeah, I didn't just like
During,
have one, and
after.
the shows are kind of a mess. So I stopped doing that for the good of everyone and myself included.
I literally just have one and that's it.
Yeah, well, I don't have that kind of self-discipline. I'm like, this is
no self-discipline.
You know, there was one night, guys, in is it remember the Roseland Ballroom in New York?
Oh, I've heard it. We haven't played there, but I'm aware. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
No, that was sake. That wasn't whiskey.
Yeah, but I think it's now. I think we were actually one of the last bands to play the Roseland Ballroom in New York. But there was one night, guys, and this happened, like, and I'd never do it again. I never did it afterwards. But myself and Bridget met an old Japanese friend of ours, and we went out for some Japanese food, and some sake was involved, and I don't even remember the show.
You were spectacular.
I mean, I was making up lyrics apparently for different lyrics.
He was freestyling.
I mean,
That's awesome.
and Kevin, when I heard about it the next day, I was so ashamed and so embarrassed, and never did it again after that.
Oh yeah. I mean, when we first started going to tour Europe, you know, those first tours we did, you know, since we were a brand new band, we were playing very small bars. And at that time,
we had a
were doing like
tradition.
16 in a row, like no days off.
Yeah.
Oh God.
All those shows would just kind of like meld into each other. And
We would drink a bottle of Jameson
before the show
together as a band before the show.
Yeah.
And bottle after
and
to
during.
celebrate.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, and during.
yeah.
Anyway, we would call those the Jameson years and the Jameson tours.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just, we couldn't sustain it. I mean, it was just not.
No. And that's the thing though with hot toddies though. I mean, I was doing that in Europe years ago, and I was ending up I continued the hot toddies on stage and after stage.
Yeah.
And you'd be drinking a bottle of whiskey a night, and you'd be like, what?
It's very easy. It just slips down.
It's true. And then even worse, the honey. You're like, how am I going through all this honey? Like, where's all
So Kev, did I meet you with Tim years ago in Canada?
Yes, there was that, but also I used to
Montebello.
Montebello. Was it Montebello?
Yes.
Was that there?
I don't know if
Not
you were
that
there. I don't
time.
think you were there that year.
Oh.
But
No.
you also remember when I was playing keyboard for Rancid, we did the Flogging Molly Salty Dog Cruise in I think 2016, maybe
Right.
2016. And that was one of the wildest weekends of my life. Like, absolutely. And I just remember like, it was like, you know, you have a bedtime and a wake up time in normal life. Like those 3 days, I slept when I got tired and I woke up, and then I felt like it was like I was in Vegas or something. Where just like there was always a band playing or always a DJ, and it was so much fun. And but yes, I remember Montebello as well. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's when I first heard of you guys. To be honest with you, I was like, you know, when we first started listening to you, but Tim, like, I mean, I love Tim. He's an amazing. I was actually really worried about him on that cruise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like kind of be like he'd said to me before, like he said, I find it really hard to go and watch you guys, you know, because I want to, you know, and I was like, and he came up to me during the cruise and he said, you know what, Dave, this is probably one of the best times we've ever had.
It's
you
true.
know? Because I mean, you do have a lot of people running around and, you know, they're having fun and they're, you know, and it's an atmosphere of people are on holidays, you know, but it's great. But I was so glad to hear that Rancid and the guys, and like they had a great time, like on that. And I really hope we can get everybody out on that cruise soon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Next year.
We'd love to
We
do
would
it.
love to do it. And yeah, I have so many like fun, vivid memories. And you know, we would have dinner together. I think, you know, some of the bands and stuff like every night. And I was hearing the same stuff from them. Like, they're like, this is like so fun. Like,
It's legendary. I've
Yeah.
heard many stories from many
Yeah.
bands just being like, you got to do it. It's so
Right.
awesome.
The Slackers were on that year too, weren't they?
we're on that year and they were,
They were,
great.
yeah. Yeah.
Fortunately for me, I get seasick and she knows this. Like I remember one time I tried to book like a romantic trip to Catalina Island.
Multiple
for
times
us.
we try to have romantic getaways where there's a boat involved.
And then it's just,
And he's just-
I
he's
turn
just
green
sick.
and I'm like, so I
Just-
just remember at the very beginning of the cruise, the first day, I was like, I'm gonna be good on this one. I'm gonna be good.
Yeah.
And we get into our like rooms and they're like, okay, in 10 minutes, there's like a safety meeting. Everybody has to go down to this lower deck. And I just remember, I get to my room and it's like 10 minutes to the safety meeting. And I was like, oh, I'm like kind of spinning. I need to lie down. I slept through the safety meeting. And then when I woke up, I went and I bought these do you know these like wristband things that hit a pressure point?
Yeah, I have them.
Yeah, so I wore those around, and then I'm just getting kind of like looks from the whole like, you know, like the texts and just
They're
like
teasing you.
all like my friends from the Rancid crew are like, so what's that? What do you got going on there? And I'm like, they only had it like baby blue, and I was like, oh
But you
yeah.
got someone-
I did so much.
She
Yeah.
has been baby blue too.
Yeah. I wore them proudly because they actually helped me. And after, honestly, I got my sea legs probably after that, halfway through the first day. So I was good.
I tell you what, guys, look, on behalf of Flogging Molly and all our fans and whatever, we would more than love to have you on the next cruise.
That would
I
be
mean,
amazing.
That would
we
be
have a
totally-
whole new team as regards, like, you know, putting it on. It's actually a bigger ship this now, and it's the last one we did was in
It's-
March.
It's a different animal.
It
with
is, isn't it?
6-man, yeah.
6-man group, they're called that too, and they're amazing.
Oh, wow.
And it was a blast. It really was. I mean,
It's so cool that you put this on. I mean, how many years now have you been doing it?
I think this was 6.
this was
Or
number
it-
6.
It
I
was
think.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Wow.
What made you want to start doing it? What was the
You know what,
first?
Aimee, it's something that we never like. I mean, we'd never been on a cruise before. It was like, I mean, I don't know, but you know, it started to all tie in, and well,
We toyed with the idea.
yeah.
It just never.
I think the thing about it is the people that go on it love it. They have a
Yeah.
great-
Yeah, we weren't sold. The first time we were ever on a cruise ship was our own cruise.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
wow.
After that, it was like, oh my God, like, first of all, this
Yeah.
is ridiculous. It was just so fun. Everybody, yeah, just saw how happy it made everybody.
Yeah.
And
It's
like,
like,
I'm not trying to be corny or anything. Like, people are so happy on that boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
it kind of feels like, just looking from the outside in, from just the posts that I see on Instagram and just friends that I talk to and stuff, they say it really feels like every time like a family reunion.
Yeah.
Like people keep going back year after year, and they see people that, you know, it's just this big
Yeah.
reunion and celebration.
And also, Aimee, it's so hot you won't need a sauna. So
Yeah. You just
you
go out.
know?
That's great. I love it. That's my kind of weather. I like that.
No, well, listen, you guys are more. We would love to have you guys. It's, I mean, to be doing this tour with you guys is, we feel so energetic after all these years. You know, still feeling energetic about an upcoming tour. It's amazing, and to be with you guys, I think is a huge, massive deal. Where we're feeling so optimistic about this.
Yeah, it's how I mean, we're honored, and hopefully this is the beginning of a long relationship of just playing shows together and hanging out and drinking hot totties and
Yeah.
all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
Ben still drinks hot toddies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, don't worry, Kev. I'll get you one or two. You know. And are you guys rehearsing now?
Yes, we've been in rehearsal for the past. I mean, we rehearsed at our house for like a couple weeks because we have our studio back there that we recorded the record in. And then we just moved to a place where we could set up like all of our equipment and like start putting like the show together. And it turns out that I'm not in as good a shape as I thought I was. And I need a lot more practice than I thought I did. But
Yeah.
but we're learning new songs
Same.
too. And it's-
We played the old songs last night, or no, a couple nights ago.
yeah.
A bunch of the old songs, and everybody seemed to remember their parts but me. I was just like, oh, we've been doing these for years. I got
Yeah.
it. And I just blanked on.
Oh
every-
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
'Cause
dang.
we've been learning the new record, and it's so
Yeah.
funny. I talk to my non-musician friends, and they're like, "What do you mean learning? They're your songs, don't you?" I'm like, "But we recorded them, and now we need to like
The live version.
figure out how to do it live." So that's all we've been doing. So last night was the first time we're like, "All right, we wrote a set list, and let's run the set." And it was the old songs that we were like, "Wait a minute, what happens here?" Like,
Yeah.
we were
It's
figuring.
like, it's like we always say, like it's kind of like a muscle or something that it's like a part of you that it takes you a while to figure out. Well, hang on a minute, and you know, getting it all together. But then once you get that, it kind of goes from there. You know. But are you going to be doing new songs on the tour?
Oh yeah. We have some. We've kind of like we put out a live album in 2021. Yeah, we
Right.
put out a live album just last year.
Live in Tokyo.
Live in Tokyo, and kind of felt like I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy, and I felt like I was a comedian that put out a special, and I'm like, oh no, like we have to come up with a whole new show now because I don't want to just go out there and just play our live album in the exact order we did it, so we're working on, just kind of zhuzhing it up a little bit, adding some new energy, maybe a new cover, I don't know, just
Yeah.
kind of-
Yeah. No, I mean, an hour set it is a bit tight, all right, but I mean, with the 4 bands that's on it, I mean, it's going to be one hell of a night's entertainment for people that are coming to see it. It really is. And I love. I don't know about you guys, but I personally love playing amphitheaters, things like that. I love the outside, playing outside.
too. I feel like we were kind of this type of music. I mean, like punk rock and any sort of like ska or like roots music is so great outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's inside too?
It's great inside too, but you know, I just feel like you can't really have a rave with the sun beaming down, but you could like go play a punk rock show. You know what I mean? That's why like Warped Tour was so great. You know?
Oh
Like,
man, the Warped Tour. I wish that would come back. You know that.
I know we're so lucky that we got to do like we did the last. You know, the very last day of the very last Warped Tour, the three bands, it was us, Less Than Jake, and Pennywise. And the whole Warped Tour ended with like probably a 10-minute version of Bro Hymn with Pennywise, with every single band on stage.
Yeah,
Kevin
I heard about that.
on stage. It was
Everybody crying.
everybody crying. Because the thing about the Warped Tour is like I was telling you guys earlier, like I grew up going to the Warped Tour. And then to like grow up, start a band, and then be playing the Warped Tour, it was like it still felt the same. Like I remember when we showed up to play the Warped Tour, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's still the Warped Tour that I used to go to. And I just go walk around the tents and like be like, wow, it's all still happening. So but what an amazing, this is what I think of it. I'm so grateful to have been born at a time when that existed, because you know, some people are gonna just hear the legends of the Warped Tour and they won't know exactly how special that was with that music and that time period. It's just like community is just amazing.
Yeah.
It's just really hard, like after the pandemic, and then you've got like you had festivals like the Warped Tour. What makes me sad about the whole thing is that all the young bands that haven't been able to do what we've done, in the sense that like things like the Warped Tour and getting out there in front of people in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
And
I think it was an integral part of a lot lot of success.
Yeah.
100%.
It was
Yeah.
big.
Not have that as an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For young bands like to not being able to, you know, to get in the back of the van and travel around and
I
do the
never
barbecue.
want to get in the back of the van again.
Wait in the line for the barbecue. But yeah, you're totally right. And you know, that's kind of like what I was saying. It's like we're so lucky to have been around to experience it, but also for our bands to have been a part of that. And like, yeah, if you're starting a band now, like what do you do?
Yeah.
What tours take you to 45 cities
And to get
in like a month and a half?
and
you know?
see all these different people getting exposed to
Yeah,
different
exactly.
crowds and stuff.
And it really gives you an opportunity to get out there too and meet like music lovers. Like we would go out there to our tent, we'd hand out stickers, we'd go watch the other bands and be like, hey, to people, be like, hey, come watch our set, we're playing in like 20 minutes over there. Like that, all of that stuff, like that doesn't exist right now, which is
I tell you, that was one of the main like moments, I think, in my life, in our life as a band, was the first times we were playing the Warped Tour, that obviously with the fiddles and the tin whistles and the accordions, and all, we were like, what the hell's going to go on here? I mean, what's good? But I always remember, like, we'd go out and we'd start off the set with just me and acoustic guitar, and then Bridget would come in, and then the accordion would come in, and then we'd all kick in, and you'd see people's faces like looking at us and looking at each other, going, well, what's going on here? You know. And then when we kick in, to see the expression on their faces and they all start dancing, it was like,
Awesome.
you knew you were a part of something that was so special, and to be part of that was unbelievable, you know. And I really genuinely, for the young bands, as I said, I really, really miss the Warped Tour.
yeah. And it's, you know, it's funny hearing you say that, because I just flashed back to seeing you guys for the first time on the Warped Tour, and just being, I was one of those people.
You were the
I
face you saw.
I was like, what? I'm like, wait a minute, this is awesome, and then boom, and then I'm like, oh wow, it's on. Yeah, it's so inspiring to be, you know, in this genre, like the punk rock umbrella is such a wide umbrella, but the thing is, the bands under the umbrella work so hard and still like put out such great music. It's so inspiring. Like there's no kind of like flash in the pan, here today, gone tomorrow kind of thing. It's like everybody's just like, this is what we do, this is what we're about. And then every record has that same energy, and like that's what we go to and what we're so inspired by. And so that's why this bill is going to be so great. It's going to be honestly maybe a little bit like a mini Warped Tour.
And how long you guys been married?
Oh, it'll be 9 years. Oh no,
I'm really bad at this.
9 years.
He's good at dates and times.
9 years in November. We've been together 12, but it'll be 9 years married in November. So yeah, we've had the band for about 10 years. Yeah.
We've been married for most of our
Yeah.
all of the interrupters. we've been
Actually, we
together.
got married after our first tour. We went out with Rancid and the Transplants in 2013, and then we got married that fall.
And I gotta say, I absolutely love being married and in a band with him.
You know, you can imagine it wouldn't be for everybody, but I feel the same way too. I mean, we feel the same way. I mean, we actually got married in Tokyo, where our live album was done, and we did it on the road. Like, I mean, we did a private in a Shinto shrine, and it was.
Well, we were engaged for so long.
Yeah.
And we're like, if we don't do this on the road, it's just not going to happen.
Oh my
We were
gosh. How long have you been?
constantly touring?
15 years now, is it?
14
14.
together for, I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, we were best mates first, like just best friends who started a band together, and then the dynamic slightly changed.
Well,
but-
it didn't for me because I fell in love with her the minute I met her. So I mean, you know.
Well, it's also amazing
I
that you
did some coaxing.
She took a lot of coaxing. She really did. And a lot of Jameson.
were like, check out this song I wrote, and it was just so beautiful. She's like, okay. I
Oh,
get it.
don't get me going on that one, Kev.
I
But
mean,
it's wonderful, isn't it? I mean, you know, to be in a situation like the four of us are, and to really and genuinely, I couldn't imagine ever living or doing this without each other. I mean,
And to be totally honest, as a guy who grew up playing in bands, I think playing in bands prepares you for marriage in so many ways, because it's all about kind of like compromise and like trying to build something together with like a common end goal,
yeah.
you know,
And not leaving when things
yeah,
get hard.
exactly. And that's the funny thing about this too, is like being able to like look back on this thing we built, like much with you guys, like you built this band, and like being able to look back at this amazing career and these records you've made and all these amazing things you've done. You're like, wow, it's just like we got to share this in this lifetime, and that's so rare, and we're so
Yeah.
definitely.
we are very lucky, aren't we? We really are.